Hello, this is Horror Studio One, and this is my unedited podcast. Hello, this is Horror Studio One, coming to you once again with the unedited podcast. Alright, so I just finished watching all of the Insidious movies right now. I watched part 1, it was on Netflix, and then I watched part 2 and part 3. I'm not gonna say how I find them, because I might have done something illegal, like watching them from the internet. I like to support films in theaters or DVD. I really do. I same with CDs as well. I like to buy CDs, and it makes me feel shitty when I don't buy CDs because I want to support the arts, man. You know, it's like, if you don't get funded for that stuff, no good art is gonna come out anywhere. But anyways, I watched all the Insidious movies just now. Holy shit. Great stuff, man. James Wan. He directed the Fast and Furious movie as well. So pretty nice genre switch there. You know, you can do action, you can do horror. What you gonna do next? Anyways, that was good stuff. I've actually watched Insidious 1 before, but never saw 2 and 3, and I just got a dose of 2 and 3 in kind of like a marathon kind of thing for the very first time, and I liked it a lot. You know, I've ever since becoming this entity known as Horror Studio One, I've basically sort of become immune to like a lot of ghost movies and stuff like that. Like there's ones I watched before, like I think the last one I watched was one called Possession or something like that. There was like a demon inside this box, and it possessed the girl or something like that. Like those ones, I become immune to a lot of horror movies because and The Orphan. I don't know if you guys watched that. It was a couple of years ago, but I watched it on Netflix too. It wasn't really scary in my opinion at all, but a lot of people were saying it was terrifying. I guess just the concept of this girl actually being in her 30s, but she looks like she's 11 is pretty fucked up. So anyways, yeah, I don't really get scared by horror movies much anymore. The reason being, like, I know a lot of the tricks they use to try to scare and manipulate you into fear, because I do it myself kind of thing. And a lot of times I watch horror movies and I guess what's gonna happen next. Like, oh, there's a jump scare, there's a this, there's a that. Regardless, Insidious, the whole series, had a lot of jump scares, and it was not above being predictable, but just the way it was conveyed and the story itself, the whole atmosphere was really good. I think I like the atmosphere of the movies more than the actual the actual eeriness or deepness of the movies, because it uses a very simple format that I find sometimes horror, you just need to use the most simple format to do your thing. It didn't have a lot of sets, it didn't take place, the ending wasn't like spectacular in all 3 of the movies. The ending was always in a house, you know, but that's what we're scared of. I mean, all my memories of being really scared are when I'm alone in my house at night and I hear a sound coming from downstairs and I don't know what it is. That is the scariest, right? You don't have to be in a gigantic gymnasium, a haunted house, a hospital, you know, hell. You don't have to be in any of those kinds of places. The scariest place is always going to be the one that's closest to you, which is, you know, in the case of the Insidious movies, their home, you know. And they use that quite well. They know that small tingle of horror, that fear in the back of our minds that something might be under our bed or inside our closet, that is the scariest thing because it's so close to us. We cannot run from it, right? We're not going into a spectacular haunted place to get scared. It's happening right beside our bed. Like that's what's so scary, and I think Insidious used that really well. For those who haven't watched the Insidious movies yet, I recommend it, and I'll tell you a bit about the stories if you guys want to listen. Basically, it begins with this kid who's basically he knows how to do the act of astral projection, so he basically can leave his own body and fly around. No problem there. He's having a lot of fun, I guess, and eventually he finds this kind of demon looking thing that that's always in his dreams and stuff like that as he's doing astral projection. And his parents take a notice to that, and they ask him, what's going on, buddy? Like, what's this thing and all that stuff. And then basically he starts having these paintings. He starts doing paintings of this red demonic thing, that's always existing. And basically, in the end, it ends up that his soul gets trapped in this outer realm, this astral realm, in which it cannot come back and find his physical body. So his parents are really freaked out, and they go to this psychic for help. And it's finally realized that this psychic actually knows his family, and that she knows the husband, the dad, because the dad himself has the same ability as his son. Basically, when his dad was a kid, he needed help because he was doing astral projection. It was a genetic thing, and he did that while he was a kid. But he also attracted a ghost known as the Black Widow, I'm pretty sure her name is, which was a ghost that followed him as well as a kid. And as a kid, because he kept on doing this and was attracting so much danger to himself, he had to close himself off and erase his own memory about having this ability. So he doesn't remember that he has this, and thus it got passed on to his son, which now has this ability and is in danger. So the premise is that the dad goes into the outer realm and saves his son. Basically, it talks about astral projection. It talks about, I don't think a lot of films actually talk about that deep of a topic, because most of the time the main characters are oblivious to this entity, this thing. But here it actually explains, and it has the idea that humans are more powerful than ghosts. And actually, I'm kind of freaked out right now. I keep on looking behind my back because I don't know. I've watched like 6 hours of Insidious, so I'm expecting some guy to strangle me or something as I'm podcasting. Would that make it like a viral video? Like if somebody died in the YouTube video, do you guys think that'll be viral? I'm not above. Anyways. Okay, so basically that's what it's about. Part 2, chapter 2, Insidious 2 talks about it's just the aftermath of that. And comparing the two movies, I liked number 1 was a fresh idea, but I liked the jump scares more in number 2. And I like how they had the whole backstory of the Black Widow and how it's actually a man. Basically, it's a man dressed up as a woman who used to be a serial killer because when they were a kid, their mom tried to dress them up in women's clothing. So, it's a fucking insane ghost that goes around killing people, basically. That's what, that's a main ghost kind of thing. And then, of course, I just actually, like 5 minutes ago, finished watching part 3. I still have, it's good. It talks to it's a whole different story. It has the same psychic, the girl, the old lady psychic is still the same, but it's a different story. It's not that family anymore, and it's kind of like a prequel. So it's before Insidious 1, and it talks about this girl who tries to spiritually contact her mom, but ends up contacting the man who can't breathe, and that's pretty crazy as well. It's like this ghost with like a oxygen mask, and that's pretty fucked up, creepy. And the Black Widow appears again. She keeps appearing in these films. I liked how it went. Not too bad. I don't know. Number 3 though, I liked how it was kind of fresh, but I just felt like they could have done a sequel instead of a prequel. Maybe do a sequel. Maybe do a number 4 and talk about how the family ends up doing afterwards. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. Patrick, I got a message. Patrick Wilson, the main character, the one who plays the dad in Insidious 1 and 2, said that he doesn't believe that there will be a direction for where the films will go, which is kind of true, because if you look at Insidious 1 and 2, the problem is basically solved. You can keep going back to that topic about the father and son and astral projection. I'm not sure if that's going to get too repetitive, but one of the things is the main character, which the woman who played the psychic. So I forget her name in the film. She's really great in it. She was like the hero. It's really rare to see, like maybe an older actress become the scream queen of a horror movie, but that happened. She's a bit older. I forget her name's Rose. No, that's Rose, but that's the wife. Pretty hot. Barbara Hershey. So she was the one that played the psychic. I'm pretty sure it's her, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she played Renee Renee. Oh no, that's the mom. Oh shit. Elise? Okay, yeah, so Elise. Is it Elise? Oh god, I don't want to mess this up. Give me 1 second. What bad researching is this? I just wanted to know her name so I can comment on the fact that she died in the first film, and then they're playing. So yes, Lynn Shay. Lynn Shay is the actress that played Elise, so the Ghostbuster, the psychic, and she actually died. Spoiler alert, I guess. Spoiler alert. She actually died in the first film, so she ended up being dead, and then they said that, doesn't know where she could go, and yeah, it's kind of true. When your main character is dead, and the third one they had to do a prequel because they wanted to bring back that character, so. In the fourth one, unless you do another prequel, it's gonna be like, Elise's like ghost busting adventures number 4 and number 5. It should be like a TV series or something. So yeah, there's really nowhere you can go, and I don't know. I guess that's not what they kind of wanted with Insidious. That's not what they wanted to go for, I guess. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I still thought it was really great though, as a current horror movie. I thought it was better than Paranormal Activity even. Yeah, I honestly did. No joke there. Are they even gonna make any more Paranormal Activities in the future? Who knows? Oh yeah, and one thing I did actually was and I've always wanted to talk about this actually. When you guys watch horror movies, comment in the section below if you guys do the same thing I do. When I watch really fucking scary horror movies, I sometimes mute the sound. I always feel like the audio and the sound and the music is what sets a lot of the suspense. Like, I'm not saying the camera work and the acting and, the fucking ghost with, like, a fucked up face does not freak you out. But I'm saying, like, the boom, boom, kind of, like that kind of thing. I'm sorry if I offended any of you with that. I'm just an idiot. I'm not saying that it's not scary, but the sound is such a big aspect. It's like when you try next time if you haven't tried it before. If you watch a really scary horror movie, try watching it without sound. Try watching it without sound. If you watch it without sound, it becomes about 60% less scary. So that's what I did with some of the Insidious movies because I couldn't take it. I actually watched it this morning. As I was, I actually started watching it last night, and I couldn't get through it because I was way too freaked out and it was way too late. And then I woke up at 6 this morning and I was supposed to go to school, but being a lazy a-hole, and this is like, come on, like, I've been in college for a while, and fucking, this is like the first week, so it's orientation week. So, I mean, for those individuals who want to go, please go, but I guess I'm just a bad influence. I didn't go today to school. I went yesterday. Yesterday was our first day of school. Today I just fucking skipped it, and because I'm pretty old now, no one can tell me no, and they don't call my parents anymore. They used to fucking call our house, and then the school, when I used to skip class in high school, they used to call our house, and then I would have to like pick up the phone and or what I do is, I know that they would call around 7. Because, okay, what my old high school used to do was that if you didn't go to class, they would basically call your house and say that your kid, or, whoever, James Roeder missed the following periods, 5 and 6. And then, if your last name was R or some shit like that, that would be pretty late. That would be probably like 8 o'clock or something like that. So I knew that around 7:30, my house would get called by my school. And then what I do is I would just put my phone to the side, So it would just be disconnected for that time period. So anyone trying to call my house that time would be like, yo, what the shit? I can't reach you guys. But it's like actually just me being mischievous and shit. So yeah, why did I get to this tangent? I don't know. So that's what I used to do in high school. So I mean, I didn't go to class, and I still woke up at 6 today. I don't know why. I just don't like sleep, maybe. Anyways, and I continued to watch the Insidious movies, and I got totally hooked. I probably would still say that the first one was definitely my favorite, though. I don't know, it just felt so solid. And I think the whole series was a solid series. Like, how, like The Hangover, they would falter at the sequels kind of thing. I mean, if you guys watch Hangover 3, it was really bad. I didn't like it at all. Like, what was the point of changing genres like that? Like, it was a funny movie. The second one, they continued that, even though it didn't hit all the marks as they were doing. But the third one was it just took comedy away and made it all friggin' about drama. And I think that it was basically trying to say the mistakes they made in the first one is coming back to get them for the third one. And I don't know, what's the point of that? Like, the whole movie just changed in tone. Like, it was not what we wanted, It's like if I suddenly changed all my if I started doing like vlogs and comedy skits, you guys would probably find it pretty weird, right? And my name is still Horror Studio 1. That'd be pretty fucked up. But actually, I have been thinking about that. Maybe start a new channel one day. Totally something else, and I'll link it to this, and you guys will see my other shit. I don't know. Maybe see how responses go. So yeah, I would still say it was a solid series. It's pretty rare, I guess, for any series to be that solid. Hey, even The Godfather, number 3 wasn't as good, but I thought number 3 was okay for Insidious. It wasn't too bad. I like The Black Widow. I kind of think they kind of overkilled that character a tiny tad bit. I mean, number 1 was okay. Number 1, we were all friggin' terrified because she wasn't the main villain in number 1. Like, you guys will know that the red-faced demon was, the main villain in number 1, the one that was trying to lure the kid out of the body. But then I guess everyone responded better to the Black Widow, which was the ghost that's always been following the dad. And then that's why they made the Black Widow the main antagonist, and gave that the whole story. It's actually a man who was abused as a child, who became a serial killer, who was he had to put into like a psychiatric ward. Basically, the reason why he followed the dad ever since he was a child was because the dad's mom worked in a hospital as like a doctor, and the kid one day went there and started snooping around, and thus the ghost has always been following. Am I getting that backstory wrong? I'm pretty sure that's what I got from the film, from just watching it. That's the reason why. So don't fuck with people, man. They'll remember you for the rest of their lives until they die, and they'll still follow you every day. I don't know. And yeah, that's why. And they kind of, I think, overkilled it by putting the Black Widow in the third one as well. It became a fucking like a minor comedic relief character, because the Black Widow appeared, and then the psychic, the old lady, threw her to the wall and said, "Bring it, bitch." Like, she actually fucking said that. And then I bet if you watched it in a theater, everyone would have laughed. But I'm a lonely person, so I don't go to theaters. I'm just in my house by myself. That's my life. Anyways, and then like I kind of felt like they kind of took it too far. They made her the kind of like fucking funny ass comic relief character. I don't know. They should make a 4th one though. I would totally watch it. I would totally watch number 4. Yeah, so how's everyone doing today? Not too bad? Oh yeah, for you individuals who are interested in that case I did before, the teen case, the teen texting another teen, that case is still being followed, but it seems that the girl is being charged with involuntarily manslaughter. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give you the name of that girl. Is it Amanda? She feels like an Amanda. I'm sorry. It is Michelle Carter. So if you guys don't know, she told her boyfriend, she like urged her boyfriend to kill himself, and he did. And she's being charged with the lowest form of killing someone, involuntarily manslaughter. And I hear that in that case they're using euthanasia as a way of like trying to get her off the hook kind of thing. And of course, again, I agree with what people have said. In a legal standpoint, there is a lot of ways you can look at the case. I guess just the age and the motive and all that kind of stuff, like what it actually is going on. You can use euthanasia, if the person is already in pain, are they allowed to end their own lives, and this assisted suicide thing. But in a moral perspective, and especially if you have listened to my podcast when I read out the messages that she sent her boyfriend, and if you look at it from a more moral perspective, from a human perspective, you'll know it's wrong. It's really wrong. She's definitely on that front is definitely not right what she did. But yeah, that's what's going on with that case. I'll probably do like a final podcast just to kind of follow up on that and give my final thoughts on that. Anyways, I've been rambling for so long. Just to get back to the Insidious, great movie. And oh yeah, one thing I found pretty funny from the movie was the kid, the kid who played Insidious in the first one. He was in the second one, but it was so obvious that he was much older. Like everyone else kind of looked the same because they're all adults and stuff. And it was actually the first one was released in 2010. So when they filmed this, it must have been like 2009. And then when they released the second Insidious, which was in 2013. A couple of years later, but in the storyline it's supposed to be only the next day. But then you see, like, I kind of saw that the kid, they didn't really show the kid in the second one, I think because the kid grown up so much in like 4 years. He was like his age was probably like 8 or 9, and now he was like 13, but he was still basically in the movie like an 8-year-old kid. So he was still like, daddy. But then he was like going through puberty. I found that fucking hilarious. I don't know, I just found that pretty funny. That aspect of it. But I guess that's what happened when you do like a direct next day kind of sequel, because it wasn't like 5 years later and then or whatever, right? It was like fucking the next day, so it was quite obvious that the kid fucking aged pretty fucking well. So he was like taller and all that crap. So anyways, yeah, that is my take on Insidious. And it's like I rarely watch much movies now anyways. Like ever since starting Horror Studio 1, to be honest, I focused a lot of my attention, and I'm not bullshitting, I focused a lot of my attention on this podcast. What I'm saying. on my channel. So a lot of times I either go to school or I work, and then or else I do a lot of YouTube stuff. So it's not a lot of chances that I get to just watch movies and enjoy myself. So I'm really happy that I, for sometimes, because I have so little time to watch movies, sometimes I feel like I'm betting. I don't know if you guys have that same feeling. Before you click into a movie, you read all the reviews, you read the summary, you read the cast, you read how much it made in the box office before you decide to invest yourself and your valuable time into that movie. That's what I do now, because I don't have as much time as I did when I was, younger. That's back then I could watch 20 bullshitty movies and 5 episodes of Family Guy in one day and still be okay with it. But now it's like, time-wise, I don't have that much anymore, and I wanted to do it doing something constructive because I'm getting older, and I don't want to waste any more of my time, I guess, and I want to make something of myself. Thus, I try to do more with my limited time, especially my spare time. Right now, I have a bit more time than I probably will have later in the year. Hopefully my uploads are still consistent with you guys, and podcast still happens 3 times a day. Maybe I'll shorten it, maybe once a day. I would do that 3 times a week, maybe once a week. I don't know. Depends on, I guess, the response, and hopefully my channel will keep going, and I can keep talking to you, bros. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Horror Studio 1, and I'll be going now. See ya. Bye bye.